I hope, okay, it started. I hope everyone is able to see my screen. Just give me a minute. Now, once everyone, please go through the question. Please read the question individually. Bank branch located in a commercial district of a city has the business objective of improving the process of serving customers during noon to 1 p.m. lunch period. A waiting time defined as the time the customer enters the line until he or she reaches the teller window of random sample of 15 customers is collected, and the results are organized as below in the dataset bank 1. These data are given as follows. Now just look at the questions. Okay, sorry for that. So you can see the data. So I just pulled up the data set. So this is the data set. Now they are asking at 0.05 level of significance, is there an evidence that the population mean waiting time is less than 5 minutes? Which means what? What did you understand first seeing the question? See, they are given a simple single column data. Next, did they ask descriptive statistics? No. Are they asking any regression? No. Just gave one data. They has given us the level of significance. They are saying it should you is there an evidence? Means are you finding an evidence that the mean waiting time is less than 5 minutes? Right. So this is a sample. You could say that why are you doing the test? Why don't you just collect the mean and just from the mean you say it is less than 5 minutes or not? So from the sample, you are trying to estimate it for a population. So that is different. That's why we don't directly just take the mean and check it if it is less than 5 minutes and all. That's why we are doing the test. That is the first thing. So second, now someone tell me, is it one sample test or two sample test? Quickly.
One sample. One sample test.
One sample because one row is there. So that you are clear now. Now you tell me, I have said that there are three tests, Z test, T test, and Z proportion. Now, ideally, you tell me what should be the test as per the this thing, as per the condition which you can see. The sample here is 15 samples.
Z.
It should be Z test. It is correct. So let us come and try. Let us try to put the Z test. But in Z test, if I click it, it is asking me for what? Null hypothesis is okay. Level of significance is given. Population standard deviation, is it given in the question? No.
No.
See the question
No.
once. The question,
Uh,
see the question once. It gives sample. Yes, yes. Someone
like
was asking question.
the no, the number 30 is for population, right? Not the sample, the size of the sample, right?
This is population size, yes. Not sample size, correct.
तो population तो वैसे भी नहीं पता तो वैसे तो
Population is
फिर
you not know. So Z proportion तो बिल्कुल नहीं है. It is definitely not. So it should be any of these two, Z or T. Okay. So let us try both. What's wrong? First, I have put Z test. In Z test, it is asking me population standard deviation. Is it given? It is
Nope.
not given in the question, right? Just now we have read the question. In the question, it is not given. That means what? We cannot do Z test. Then close it. Come back again. One sample T test. What is left? T test, chi-square, Z test. Z test for proportion. That is not there. Chi-square is out of syllabus. T test for mean. This is the only thing which is there. Now this is clear which test you have to perform. But until here is it clear? यहाँ तक तो ठीक है ना सबको?
Yes, yes.
हाँ. Null hypothesis. Let me frame it. We'll frame it again. What is the level of significance? Level of significance means what? This is confidence interval, right? This also has some percentage. This also has some percentage. This both, the sum is level of significance. Fine. Now that is given as 0.05. Indirectly, what are they saying? Confidence interval is 95%. That's all, isn't it? Question they are saying level of significance is
Yes.
0.05. Now, as per the graph, this region, let me call this region as A. Let me call this region as B. Let me call this region as C. Now, what is level of significance? A plus C. Correct. Now they gave me that. Indirectly, they are saying B region, the confidence interval is 95%. Now that is clear. Now, what I know, let me put what I know. 0.05 is known. Now, let me come to the next one. Sample statistics option. Now, sample size, you know it is 15. But do you know the mean? You don't know. You have to calculate. Instead of that, just go to here. Sample statistics are not known. Means what? You're directly giving the cell values. How? Click here. Select the entire thing. It will automatically take everything. Until here, is it clear?
Yes.
Yes. Now
No, it's not
hypothesis.
clear. It's not
Yeah,
clear.
Pooja.
Sorry. Can
Now
you tell me what data to put in the t-test table? ये पूरा समझा
this
नहीं ये
one.
वाला?
This
हाँ.
one.
अरे नहीं, ये जो विंडो नया खुला है, t-test विंडो.
Okay. You understood why we came to t-test?
Yes, I understood.
Now why we came to one sample test, you understood first?
Yes,
Why we came to t-test, you understood?
yes,
Now we are clicking on it. Now this is the table we are getting. Null hypothesis will come to it. Level of significance, you understood?
yes.
Now it is 0.05 directly given in the question. Sample statistics are known. They are not known. Why? This is the sample. You can calculate it, but instead of that, you can directly give the sample values here.
Okay.
Nothing for this. You are the calculate the mean and enter here. You are calculate standard deviation and enter here. Instead of that, if you give it,
Raghunath,
uh,
in level of significance, can we put 95%
no,
or acha?
no. Why? pH stat confidence interval. In confidence interval, what is it asking? Confidence level. That's
Acha.
why we
ठीक
put 95. But here, what is it asking?
है. Level of significance.
Level of significance. That is different. Okay. Now this is what we have given. Now let me come to hypothesis. So there are two hypotheses. Hypothesis H0, it is called as null hypothesis. Hypothesis H1, which is alternate hypothesis. As the name suggests, whatever H0 is saying, opposite of it, H1 says. Now, as per the question, what can be null hypothesis? They are asking at 0.05 level of significance, is there evidence that the population mean waiting time is less than 5 minutes? Means mean. Population mean is what? Mu, right? Mu of the population, mu D is less than 5 minutes. First, you understood why I wrote mu? What are they asking the question? They're asking population mean. Population का symbols क्या है? This is for population. This is for sample. ये याद रहेगा sample S है. ये S है, ये भी S है, ये भी S square है. These three are the numeral Greek alphabets. Sigma, sigma square, mu. Not mu bar. Sorry, it is only mu. Okay. Now you understood how I am framing this hypothesis. First of all, the question says at this level of significance, you have to prove that the population, is there an evidence that the population mean waiting is less than 5 minutes? Means it is less than 5. What will be H1? Anyone?
More than equal to.
Simply it is not less than 5. Whatever this says, it will be opposite. Now you understood what is null hypothesis and alternate hypothesis. At least
देखो
theoretically ये क्या है समझ में आया ना पहले.
देखो
हाँ समझ में आ गया।
हाँ हाँ
ये
someone is
जो
asking.
हाँ
H नॉट है नल हाइपोथेसिस में हमको फेवरेबल आउटकम लेना है अपना जो हम चाहते हैं.
Not necessarily, but you can take it, you can understand it that way. You can take the favorable outcome.
मतलब स्पेसिफिकली ऐसे क्वेश्चन में लिखा था कि लेस देन 5 मिनट्स तो इट विल बी नल हाइपोथेसिस.
हाँ,
ठीक
suppose
है.
you are putting that here. I am putting the null hypothesis value as 5 and I am putting it only as upper tail. Sometimes you have to test the alternate reverse भी test करना पड़ेगा लेकिन उतना complicate नहीं करते हैं. For now let it just be like this. Null hypothesis को test कर रहे हैं, null hypothesis ही enter कर रहे हैं value इधर. बस ऐसे समझ लो पहले के. Now
Raghunath,
I'll
like
first this thing is clear. Hypothesis formation ये clear है.
I
Null
think
क्या है, alternate क्या है?
whatever Raghunath,
हाँ?
like, I think whatever they're asking the question that we have to write in the alternate hypothesis. I think I'm not sure, but you can confirm once.
Alternate में लिखना है. I don't think so. I think you should write it here, no? Null hypothesis only. Anyone else can correct if I'm wrong. Acha, but I am also not sure. Better looking into seniors videos once. I think it should be written here only. Depends upon the hypothesis. See, if you are writing this thing as null, so the output should also be interpreted in the same way. Okay, let me go with the flow. After that, I'll clear it if it's possible for me. So first, the question is saying less than 5 minutes. So hypothesis formation, any doubt, anyone? First of all, how we wrote it, why I wrote mu, why I wrote less than 5, why I wrote not less than 5 for alternate hypothesis. This is clear, no? First of all, so you have to write this for the question. So after that, now let us fill the values here. Now I have put the null hypothesis as 5 and I have taken only upper tail. Why did I take only upper tail? The question is saying it is less. They did not give the other boundary. First of all, did they ask between? As the lace case I have mentioned, they did not say you between. It should be in this range. They did not say the range. They only gave you one range. Means it is less than 5. Matlab they only said one boundary. The question is mentioning only one boundary, right? They are not mentioning about two boundaries. With that, you can say that there is only one tail. Either it is upper or lower. So they are saying it is less than 5. Less than 5 means what? 5 is the upper boundary. This is your normal distribution. Somewhere here is 5. So your level of significance is over here. Entire level of significance is over here. Entire this thing is 95. Always draw the graph. It will be easy to understand. So at this point, when this mu is less than 5 is what you have to test. This is your level of significance. This is in percentage terms. Now understood why we are taking the upper tail? I hope you understood.
Yes, boss.
Now just
Should we not take lower tail? Because
see the values.
like we're interested in the lower values, right?
No, they are asking, is there evidence that if this is less than 5, see my hypothesis. If your hypothesis is greater than 5, then you should take lower tail.
Okay.
Depends on how
Okay.
your hypothesis is. My hypothesis is, I am assuming they are asking, test if at all the population mean is less than 5. I am saying, first my assumption is, yes, it is less than 5. That is my assumption. See the question, once again read the question everyone. At the 0.05 level of significance, is there evidence that the population mean waiting time is less than 5 minutes? I am assuming that it is less than 5. This is my assumption. That alternate is this thing. It is not less than 5. Since it is less than 5, then my graph is upper tail. Because the level of significance of 5% is here, 95% is here. I'm assuming that 95% is less. Okay. अरे लेस कब होगा? अपर टेल्स, अरे यार, I have formed from a sample, I have formed the bell curve. Now a new one came. Now this new one is less than 5. Less than 5 मतलब अपर टेल बनेगा 5, लोअर टेल बनेगा, ये बताओ.
This
यही
not sure
बनेगा ना.
actually. हाँ.
So that's why we are taking it as an upper tail. Now we see how we are interpreting. ये कहाँ चला गया? Yes, so we clicked it. Now see the hypothesis. For mean less than 5, this is for population. Level of significance is this thing. This is not necessary. See the p-value. If p-value is less than alpha, alpha is the level of significance. Means what? Reject null hypothesis. If p-value is greater than alpha, then do not reject null hypothesis. What is the p-value here? 0.9431. What is alpha? Alpha is nothing but level of significance. As per question, what is alpha? 0.05. Now what is the p-value? P-value is 0.9431. 0.9431 is it less than 0.05? No. Which means what? Do not reject null hypothesis. Is it clear?
Yeah.
Which means what?
एक बार फिर से बता देना बस ये अल्फा एंड पी.
Alpha and P, okay. Alpha is nothing but your level of significance.
Okay.
Alpha is a symbol to signify level of significance. From the question, what is level of significance? 0.05. P value is directly given here. P value. I think you can see my highlighted cell. So P value is this thing. So what are the conditions? If P value is less than alpha, then you reject the null hypothesis. What is your null hypothesis? Your hypothesis is population mean is less than 5. Then you should reject it. But what if P value is greater than alpha? Then you should not reject, which means you accept the null hypothesis. Or you can say that you did not find the evidence to reject the hypothesis. Actually, you should put it that way. You should not find the evidence that it is less than null hypothesis. मतलब क्या है? Suppose some X killed some guy. You did not find evidence that he killed someone. That doesn't mean he necessarily didn't kill. Evidence नहीं मिला इसका मतलब ये नहीं कि वो criminal नहीं है. बस तुम्हारे पास एविडेंस नहीं है प्रूफ करने के लिए, बस इतना फ्रेम करना है उसको. राइट?
अच्छा यही हो गया बस.
हाँ ऐसे फ्रेम, इसीलिए एक्सेप्ट नहीं लिखते इधर. इफ यू सी दिस वर्ड इज डायरेक्टली रिजेक्ट. तो एक्सेप्ट क्यों नहीं लिख रहे हैं? एक्सेप्ट नहीं लिख सकते बिकॉज यू डिड नॉट फाइंड एनफ एविडेंस. हम बस ये कह रहे हैं कि आई डिड नॉट फाइंड एनफ एविडेंस टू रिजेक्ट हाइपोथेसिस. ऐसा लिखना है. दैट्स व्हाई वी राइट डू नॉट रिजेक्ट. सीधा एक्सेप्ट लिख सकते हैं ना. डू नॉट रिजेक्ट क्यों लिखना है? एक्सेप्ट नहीं लिख सकते बिकॉज योर टेस्ट इज ओनली टेस्टिंग रिजेक्ट करने के लिए प्रूफ है कि नहीं, बस. दैट्स व्हाई वी से डू नॉट रिजेक्ट. मतलब एक्सेप्ट नहीं है, एक्सेप्ट नहीं लिखना है. डू नॉट रिजेक्ट. यू कैन राइट दिस, वी डिड नॉट फाइंड एनफ प्रूफ टू रिजेक्ट नल हाइपोथेसिस. पी वैल्यू का समझ में आया सबको? एवरीवन इज ओके विद द पी वैल्यू लेस देन अल्फा, ग्रेटर देन अल्फा. हाउ टू राइट द इंटरप्रिटेशन? सो फॉर दिस क्वेश्चन व्हाट इज यू विल राइट द हाइपोथेसिस H naught is population mean is less than 5. And alternate hypothesis, population mean not less than 5. After doing the t-test, we found that the p-value is greater than alpha. Then you will write, we did not find any proof to show that this is greater than alpha. So we can say that what? Mean mu d is less than 5. There is no evidence to reject null hypothesis. बस इतना ही लिखना है. ठीक है. Now, what is the second question? What assumption about the population distribution is needed in order to construct the t-test? Assumption about population distribution. वही तो assumption H naught वही तो बनाया हमने. इसका और कुछ नहीं है. Construct a box plot or normal probability plot to evaluate the assumption made in B. Normal probability plot. Normal probability plot. This seems to be a straight line. इससे क्या करना है इससे? Evaluate the assumption. Evaluation क्या है? This I don't know. This I am not sure. इसमें क्या करना है? अच्छा इस क्वेश्चन को अभी यहाँ पर रख लेते हैं. Because I also don't know what to do with these things. अच्छा one sample test is clear, no? How to do at least, how to write the assumption, how to interpret the assumption. इतना तक तो ठीक है. Everyone.
Yes, boss.
Okay. So in SPSS, इसमें भी देख लेते हैं. Just copy the data. Control C. and paste with variable information. Now here, go to analyze. Compare means one sample t test. Now that is variable one plus waiting time. So waiting time, just put it here. Options, confidence interval is 95. Here it is asking confidence interval. PH start ask for level of significance. That is our test value is 5, I guess. Not both tail, should do single tail, no? Size, compare links, sample t test. ये क्या आ रहा है? There is no single tail. Then how will you do single tail? Analyze, compare, means, sample. But here it is doing for both tails. We need to do it only for single tail. So that is, anyone know how to do it for single upper tail in SPSS?
ये इंडिपेंडेंट सैंपल टी टेस्ट आ रहा है, उस पर देखो एक बार.
Waiting time, dependent samples, test variable in grouping. Here also we don't have, no?
अच्छा मैं तो सिर्फ ऐसे तुक्का मार रही थी, मेरे को आता नहीं है. बस सेम की
कोई
चेक
बात
कर लो
नहीं.
एक बार.
कोई बात नहीं. What is the output? That's why I use PH stat, because there you will see in PH stat you directly got, no? Reject करना है नहीं reject करना है सीधा तुम्हें आ गया है. तो SPSS I T test and all I don't think how is it useful. Depends how you want to use it. अच्छा okay, for now I'm just leaving it SPSS को. So what are we left with? So one sample, so two samples wala we'll see, then paired t test. Okay. For paired t test, okay, two sample tests. Now you see this question 10.12. A bank with a branch located in a commercial district of a city has business objective. The same question, data are collected. This is the data. Suppose that another branch located in residential area is also concerned with improving the process of serving customers in the noon. Same question. Lunch period data are collected from random of 15 customers in bank 2. This is the data. Assuming that the population variances from both banks are equal, is there evidence of a difference in the mean time between the two branches? Read the question once, everyone. So now this is for bank data 1. Let us take data. Now this is data 2, bank 2. Now tell me, this is one sample or two sample test?
2 sample.
Why there are two things are there? That's why we'll do two sample. Now also tell me, is it summarized or unsummarized?
And summarized
Why?
raw data दिया हुआ है ना.
बस उतना ही है. So that now let us go. Now in unsummarized, pooled variance, separate variance, paired F-test and Wilcoxon. This is not there. Wilcoxon rank text syllabus में ही नहीं है. Separate variance t-test भी syllabus में नहीं है. Pooled variance on paired t-test. These both are there. So I'll just explain the difference between these two. Paired variance means if the two columns which are given to us, if they are in any way related to each other, that is paired t-test. Understood? मतलब, see, suppose what can we say? The same lace packet example, in the weight of the packet, you also consider the weight of potato chips along with the weight of the packet, aluminum packet. So both are connected, right? So if at all the manufacturer of aluminum cover is increasing the weight of it, that will also affect. So those both are dependent upon each other to give the total weight. That is paired t-test. If these two columns are not dependent directly on each other, that is pooled variance t-test in layman terms. Understood? So this is bank 1 in some other district. The question clearly states this is bank 1 in some district. Suppose that another branch in another residential area, this is also doing the same task to reduce the customer wait time. Now you tell me, in the PH stat, two sampled unsummarized data, pooled variance test or paired test, which test will you put?
Pooled variance.
Pooled variance. Why? Because they are not dependent directly. How bank 1 is functioning, bank 2 has nothing to do with how bank 1 is functioning, right? That's why we are doing pooled variance. Now form the hypothesis. What is the question? Assuming that the population, this is samples, remember, these are samples. Population variances on both banks are equal. They gave an assumption. Is there an evidence of a difference in the mean waiting time between the two branches? Now they are saying not 5. They are saying the mob. What is the null hypothesis? Anyone? Someone try to form the null hypothesis, please. Fast, we don't have time. What is the null hypothesis and what is the alternate hypothesis?
Null hypothesis is there's a difference between the mean waiting time, and the alternate hypothesis is there's no difference between the mean waiting time between the two branches.
Okay, you are almost there. Just tell me how to write it. Assume mu1 is for branch 1.
तो mu1 minus mu2 is equals to
mu1.
0, and नीचे हो जाएगा mu1 minus mu2 is not equal to 0.
Okay. mu1 minus mu2 is equal to 0. Can I write it in any other way? Just equal to के उस तरफ ले जाओ.
A1 is equal to
Yeah,
this.
what you said is correct. You can also say like this also. Mu1 minus mu2 is equal to 0. And mu1 minus mu2 is not equal to 0. So exactly. So everyone understood how to form the hypothesis. The question is asking, check the proof. If is there an evidence in the mean waiting, that a difference in the mean waiting time between the two branches? Is there evidence of a difference? मतलब difference है कि नहीं? उसका एविडेंस है क्या तुम्हारे पास? दैट इज व्हाट यू नीड टू टेस्ट. आई एम एज्यूमिंग डिफरेंस ही नहीं है. देयर इज नो डिफरेंस इन द मीन्स ऑफ द पॉपुलेशन. दैट इज माय assumption. Now with the data, what is my hypothesized difference? The difference is 0. What is my population 1 sample cell range? This is this one. What is the sample 2? This one. Now is it two tail, upper tail, lower tail? Now tell me. This is stick. No, first cell contains both label, that is stick. Confidence interval, this is not necessary because already you gave level of significance is 0 point. This is implied it is 95%. Now बताओ upper tail है, lower tail है, both two tail है, कौन सा tail है?
Tail.
क्या?
टू
Two
टेल
tail.
ही होगा, कुछ भी नहीं दिया
Two
है
tail
तो,
ही
है ना?
होगा, कुछ नहीं दिया है ना, कुछ नहीं दिया है तो two tail ही है. कंफ्यूज नहीं होने का. Now someone tell me, why did we reject the null hypothesis? Now what is the interpretation? Fast, we don't have time. Meeting खत्म हो जाएगा. First see, we hypothesis difference is 0. Our assumption is there is no difference in the mean waiting time of two branches. That is the question. No, is there evidence of a difference in the mean waiting time between the two branches? My assumption is there is no difference in the mean waiting time. But what is the t-test output? Reject the null hypothesis. Why is it rejected? First, number one. What is your interpretation? Number two. Please fast. Someone who did not speak. Fast, please. तो मैं बुलाऊंगा किसी को.
Please call out.
प्लीज कॉल आउट. अरे यार, हाँ तुम ही बताओ आदित्य. Why did we reject null hypothesis? ये बताओ पहले.
ये इसकी वैल्यू आ रही है इसलिए, मतलब
P
इक्वल टू
value,
0
is
होना
it less
चाहिए.
than alpha?
लेस देन अल्फा.
Yeah, P value is less than alpha means what? Reject the
Reject
null
the
hypothesis.
hypothesis.
So what is your interpretation? My hypothesis is there is no difference between the mean waiting time of two branches. Now you are rejecting this.
Yes.
Means what is your interpretation?
मतलब डिफरेंस है
I am
इसमें.
saying ये गलत है. इसका मतलब क्या है?
हाँ, मीन
Alternate
टाइम में
तो
डिफरेंस आ रहा है.
हाँ,
Not
बस
equal.
वही लिखना है. बस वही लिखना है. You just have to write that there is difference in mean waiting time of two branches. बस ये दोनों लाइन लिखना है, वही इंटरप्रिटेशन है.
यार इतने इंटरप्रिटेशन में वो मार्क्स दे देगी ना?
एक ही लाइन है इंटरप्रिटेशन में, उससे ज्यादा नहीं है.
ओके फाइन.
So this is fine. Two tail test, the two sample t test. ठीक है ना सबको?
यस सर.
पेयर्ड वाला भी एक कर ले, एक प्रॉब्लम देखते हैं. विद दैट अनोवा और रिग्रेशन बच जाएंगे.
रघुनाथ, अनोवा रिग्रेशन कितने देर का टॉपिक है, मतलब अप्रोक्स?
ANOVA is very simple. See, now we are doing it in PHStat. We are shown for one sample means one column, two sample मतलब two columns. टू से ज्यादा कैसे करोगे? टू से ज्यादा भी तो कॉलम्स हो सकते हैं ना, तो उसमें
हाँ,
टी टेस्ट कैसे करोगे? वही ANOVA है.
ओके.
You can do ANOVA here using data analysis, ANOVA with single factor. टू फैक्टर सिलेबस में नहीं है, इसीलिए उसको छोड़ दो. In the input range, you will give all the columns which are there, and you select the labels in the row. Then the alpha is the level of significance. It is always 0.5, and then you will click OK. You will get the output.
सर पहले जेड टेस्ट टी टेस्ट सारे करा दो, उसके बाद अनोवा पढ़ेंगे.
हो गया ना ये सब? Z test, T
कंफ्यूज
test हो
मत
गया.
करो. अच्छा सिर्फ इतना ही है.
You only
और
have
ये
paired T
समराइज्ड
test.
वाले का एक बता दो ना.
Summarized में सेम सेपरेट नहीं है. पेयर टी टेस्ट है, पूल्ड वेरिएंस है. Z test टू मीन्स में है, इसमें भी है। तो देखो नाउ यू सी
रघुनाथ
हाँ,
रघुनाथ एक
हाँ।
रिक्वेस्ट है, ये जितना भी पीएच स्टैट में जाके हमारा रेलेवेंट ऑप्शंस है ना, रेलेवेंट
हम्म,
टूल्स, वो सब पे एक लिस्ट बना देगा क्या?
लिस्ट
हाँ हाँ
तो
लिस्ट।
उतना है नहीं इधर भाई, देख लो एक
हाँ
बार।
इतने।
डिस्क्रिप्टिव
हाँ
स्टैटिस्टिक्स में सब कुछ है, इन सबको आसानी से यूज कर सकते हो। नंबर 1 डिस्क्रिप्टिव स्टैटिस्टिक्स, नंबर 2 कॉन्फिडेंस इंटरवल, नंबर 3 वन सैंपल टेस्ट, नंबर 4 टू सैंपल अनसमराइज्ड डेटा, नंबर 5 टू सैंपल समराइज्ड डेटा, नंबर 6 रिग्रेशन। बस 6 ही है।
ओके ओके ओके। तो इसमें से काई स्क्वायर वाला वो सब रेलेवेंट नहीं है ना?
chi-square is not in syllabus, but ma'am has explained, but it is not in syllabus.
ओके 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 दैट्स
So
मैन।
see, you have asked for this thing, no?
रघुनाथ, एक और क्वेश्चन है,
हाँ,
तो आप बता दो पहले। मैं ये कह रहा हूँ कि एसपीएसएस में हम एक बाइनोमियल वाली चीजें नहीं कर सकते, और एक ये अगर आपका टेल हुआ या लोअर टेल टेस्ट हुआ वो परफॉर्म नहीं कर पाएंगे ना अभी के
जेड
लिए।
टेस्ट भी नहीं कर पाएंगे।
जेड टेस्ट भी नहीं, मतलब जेड टेस्ट नहीं करे तो वो उनकी, तो वो देना नहीं चाहिए ना उनको क्वेश्चन।
टी टेस्ट को ही कर सकते हैं, तो मैम को टी टेस्ट को ही देना पड़ेगा।
ठीक है।
So you are saying no in summarized data का pooled variance t test. So this how you do. Hypothesis difference is 0. I'm doing for the same sum. First sample size is 15. मैंने sample का descriptive summary निकाला। Sample का mean क्या है? Just select this 4.2866. Sample का standard deviation क्या आया? 1.6380, 1.638. Sample 2 is here. अरे जाओ ना इसमें, this is not going. Okay, just wait. For the same question, rating 1 and rating 1 is 4.2866. 4.66.